Hello and welcome to British English with me, Alexandre, wherever you are in the world now. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Today, we're gonna be reading another news article from BBC News UK. Basically, we're talking about Rwanda. It's about politics, okay? Um, Please, before anything else, subscribe to the channel to help English learners all over the world. The aim of that exercise is to demonstrate that it is really simple to increase your vocabulary to thousands of words. In that news article in particular, you only need 300 distinctive words to understand the whole of that article. Only 300 words to understand an advanced piece of news. Okay, so we're gonna be reading that article out loud so you can see how connected speech works, elision, alliteration, all the things necessary, all inside of a context, because that's the way that your brain is gonna be able to remember words, phrases, and sentences. And you can learn all the things through that unique exercise. It's all about reading out loud, so that your brain can remember the sounds of the words. In this news article, I try to read in modern RP British pronunciation. Okay, so without any further ado, let's do the reading. Here we have Rwanda plan is fundamentally flawed. What does flawed mean? Flawed is an adjective and it means having a flaw, not perfect or correct, not perfect. So, Rwanda plan is fundamentally flawed. Parliamentary report warns. This article has been published 12 hours ago. And this article is by Dominic Cassiani, Home and Legal Correspondent. The idea of Rishi Sunak is stop the boats. Stop the boats. Okay, this is the headline. A key parliamentary committee says the government's plan to send some asylum seekers to Rwanda is fundamentally incompatible with the UK's human rights safeguards. The Joint Committee on Human Rights said the legislation jeopardized the UK's international reputation. Now, what does jeopardize mean? To jeopardize something or somebody means to risk harming or destroying something or somebody. And here we have now, again, the Joint Committee on Human Rights said the legislation jeopardized the UK's international reputation. The bill will be debated in detail by the House of Lords this week and face substantial opposition. Now, what does bill mean? Bill, in that case, means a written suggestion for a new law that's presented to a country's parliament so that its members can discuss it. It's a project of law. So, the bill will be debated in detail by the House of Lords this week and face substantial opposition, great opposition. Even if it passes, even if it's approved, it is not clear whether flights will ever take off. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's controversial legislation was approved by MPs last month despite substantial opposition. His own party split over the plan and the then immigration minister quit, declaring it would not work. Under the scheme, which has cost £290 million so far, the UK would block claims for, for asylum from anyone arriving over the English Channel. Instead send them on a one-way trip to Rwanda. Its government has promised to consider their cases for protection. Okay, I'm gonna read again that paragraph. Under the scheme, which has cost £290 million so far, the UK would block claims for asylum from anyone arriving over the English Channel, and instead send them on a one-way trip to Rwanda. Its government has promised to consider their cases for protection. The UK Supreme Court ruled that Rwanda was not a safe country because it would send victims of abuses, including torture, back to countries they have fled from. If the legislation is passed by Parliament, British judges will be told to find the country is a safe place without considering the evidence a second time. Publishing a detailed analysis of the legislation before peers began 3 days of intensive debate. Sorry, again about that. Publishing a detailed analysis of the legislation before peers began 3 days of intensive debate, the cross-party Joint Committee on Human Rights said the bill would deny almost all asylum seekers the legal right to ask an independent court to assess their case to remain in the UK. The principle that individuals cannot be removed from a country to face a real risk of persecution, torture, inhuman or degrading treatment or death is a core principle of international law, to which the UK has committed itself on numerous occasions over the past 70 years, said the report. While Rwanda had promised in a new treaty with the UK to improve its human rights safeguards, there was no guarantee it would work in practice, said the committee. This is from Reuters. Legal challenges meant the first Rwanda flight was cancelled shortly before takeoff in June 2022. The courts remain the most appropriate branch of the state to resolve contested issues of fact, it said. The question of Rwanda's safety would best be determined not by legislation, but by allowing the courts to consider the evidence. Joanna Cherry KC, the SNP MP who chairs the cross-party committee, said the bill was so flawed that it risked untold damage to the UK's reputation for upholding human rights. Untold damage means massive damage. Hostility to human rights is at its heart, and no amendments can salvage it, she said. Amendments attacking bill. Peers opposed to the Rwanda bill, which the government's own lawyers have warned is seriously flawed, have proposed 90 amendments. A Home Office spokesperson said, "We're committed to tackling this major global challenge with bold and innovative solutions, and the Rwanda scheme is doing just that. The bill we have introduced, and the treaty alongside it, are the best way of getting flights off to Rwanda as soon as possible." Rwanda is clearly a safe country that cares deeply about supporting refugees. It houses more than 135,000 asylum seekers and stands ready to relocate people and help them rebuild their lives. While the Prime Minister said his plan to stop the boats was one of his 5 key pledges, public documents showed the Home Office was projecting to spend £700 million on arrivals by 2030. So that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed the reading of that news article from BBC. Please subscribe to the channel to help English learners all over the world. You can bring your English to the next level by learning fast thousands and thousands of words, because when you read out loud, your brain remember the the meaning and the meaning of the words of the phrases, and remembers how it's spoken. So it gets easier for you to understand English news and even English people, because you're reading through the correct pronunciation, you're reading the way it's connected, so it's really easier to learn like that and bring your vocabulary to over 6, 7, or even more thousands of words. That's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed. Please subscribe to the channel, share the content, and that's it. Thank you so much. Cheers.